Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Sims 4 Random Pets Laboratory Challenge, where we mix and match all sorts of different animal genes to see what kind of curious creature crossbreeds we can create. And today, my friends, we're mixing together two really cool canids who actually look a lot more like each other than I first thought they would. But we have Banana the Dingo, who is looking really fantastic, representing that wild dog species that is native to Australia, and different sources say they have been on Australia and kind of establishing their own unique species for anywhere from as long as 17,000 to maybe 3,000 years ago. It kind of is interesting how they have that huge age range. If you guys know more specific data, because some of the more recent data has kind of bounced back and forth on that, on when the dingo may have actually gotten itself onto the Australian gigantic continent island and become its own unique species, I would love to know. But all of that aside, we're going to be mixing it with Frogger the Fox! Oh, Frogger, I forgot to give you your last little trait. You know what, Frogger? You're going to be a little bit of a sleuth because you like to get into things. That's what I think. But the domesticated fox, or in this case just a fox, it just thinks it's domesticated because that's the new name for foxes now that we have wild foxes in The Sims 4, is going to be the one that we're crossbreeding the dingo genes with. So foxes and dingoes don't normally have a territory that overlap, though foxes have been introduced to Australia as an invasive species. So I was wondering, could you actually end up with dingo and fox crossbreeds? And the answer is actually no. You can crossbreed a dingo with pretty much any variety of dog. You can have coyotes and you can have wolf crossbreeds. You can have crossbreeds between jackals and dogs. But you can have crossbreeds between wolves and dogs. But in real life, you cannot crossbreed the fox with any of the dog species because they have different numbers of chromosomes and they just do not align and end up having any kind of offspring. So I thought that was really interesting because there are so many different crossbreeds that really exist in the real world between the canid species, but you actually cannot crossbreed a fox with dogs. There you go, there you have it. So even if they do have territory that overlaps now, we would not normally expect Banana and Frogger to have any little pups of their own. But since this is the LaBARKatory, we're gonna dive right in. So if you guys could go ahead and get your safety goggles on and put on your lab coats because it is time to start having some petri dish puppies. All right, let me pull up your guys' comments using our random comment generator to randomly select one of your comments from our previous videos. Do keep those comments coming with suggestions of future crossbreeds we could create, and also if you want to be named after one of these amazing little hybrids. All right, let's do this, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up. All right, almost there. We have to make sure we add the right genetics and... Oh, look at this! This is actually going to be a Forest, after the forest fox. All right. Forest, welcome, welcome. You are going to be a troublemaker who is loyal and a sleuth, which sounds amazing. And Forest, you suggest, could you make wings of fire dragons and breed them? That would be so cool. I want to see what Starflight and Sunny's children would look like. And I still have not read Wings of Fire. I know, my niece is increasingly disappointed in my Aunt Seri powers. But if you guys could, let me know, like, what types of dragons are there in Wings of Fire? I'm kind of really curious. You keep talking about it in comments and I keep getting increasingly curious about what we could see. And now I kind of want to crossbreed a fox and a dragon again. That would be really fun. But do let me know, like, what kind of dragons are they? We did crossbreed an ender dragon and a sheep once. Maybe I should bring the ender dragons back. But all right, let's go ahead. I'm getting sidetracked by, like, at this rate, the Pixel Biology book club. And pull up. Oh, that's beautiful. Holy cow, what would that grow up into? Note to self, do more dingo mixes. What? Oh, geez. Okay, we've got to add in the fox genes, though. And this... Also glorious and beautiful. This is going to be Kajapin. Kajapin, welcome. Oh my gosh. You have some amazing coloring. You can't produce dairy. All right. Nope, still can't produce dairy. But you can be a vocal, a couch potato, and a glutton. Look at how cool they look. I love this coloration. All right, we're definitely ending up with some different variants on the colors than I was expecting from this mix. So let's go ahead and pull up another one. Also the difference between having the small fox and the big dingo genes for all of these crossbreeds. And this is actually going to be London! London, welcome! Welcome! What a fun way to spell your name, too. London, welcome. You are going to be a friendly, loyal hunter who suggests a unicorn and a panda. That sounds adorable because we would have just maybe all of these little pink and purple pandas wandering everywhere. All right, unicorn and panda added to the list. Thank you, London. All right, let's go ahead and get the next Petri dish pup. And the next to be almost there. Add the dingo genes and whoa, this coloration again. And this is actually going to be Savage after Margie Savage. And Margie, you actually suggest crossing a chicken and a coyote. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. Alas, we do not have chickens. We can only go off of four-legged animals in the LaBARKatory due to the constraints of our genetic library. However, we might be able to have some birds that we can crossbreed with some of the canids in Let's Build a Zoo when that game comes out. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on our channel from when we start that series because I think it's going to be absolutely delightful. Savage, welcome, welcome. You are going to be an independent, friendly couch potato. So you actually sound ridiculously adorable, sweet, and kind. Look at that little face! But I definitely would watch the teeth, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the next little Petri dish pup. See what? You guys ready for this? Add in the dingo genes. What Brandy is going to look like. Brandy, welcome. You look much like your fox parent. We'll have to see just how large you become. And Brandy, you are going to be a little glutton who is friendly and stubborn. You know, one of the amazing things, out of many amazing things that I learned about the dingo, is that they are actually very, very, very smart. They have a slightly opposable, like, thumb digit that they can use to open up cages and turn doorknobs. So, I mean, come on, like, dingoes evolved uniquely enough for long enough that they actually have a digit they can kind of manipulate like we manipulate our thumbs, and they can use it to open doors. What? But they are exceptionally smart, and they often end up escaping from houses, they end up escaping from cages or anywhere where you try to contain them because of the mix of that intelligence and that flexible joint. I don't know if you guys have ever taken a moment to appreciate the fact that our thumbs let us do so many amazing things, but thumbs are awesome, and I think that's so interesting to think that the dingo was beginning to develop a thumb. What would you do? Like, what could your dog do if they had thumbs and could just like open things? It would be absolute chaos. But all right, now it's time for our very last of our little Petri dish friends. Oh, all right, there we go. Very curious to see what this last little one's going to be with Mystic. Mystical, welcome, welcome. All right, Mystical, welcome. You are actually going to be a glutton who is playful and independent. And look at all of these colors. I was not expecting these darker patterns on so many of our different pups, but that is definitely what we ended up with. And Mystical, you suggest a cross between a dragon and a manticore. I don't know if I could whip up some manticore genes, I'll be honest, because that might be a little tricky, but I'm really tickled to see how many different fantasy creatures you guys know. And in fact, I'm really curious. What is the most unique or obscure fantasy creature that you guys think you know about from books or movies or like fan fiction or games that you have played or read? Because I'd be really curious to see how that pixel biology could play out. So I would love to know, what is the most obscure idea for a fantasy creature that you can think of from the things that you have read? I'm trying to think of some for myself. I'm thinking about like a whole bunch of the cool creatures that show up in Brandon Sanderson's series, for sure. Oh gosh. Like, he has tiny miniature horses, I think, in one of his series. Goodness, I'm gonna have to give that like some good thought, but that's what pixel biology is all about. Finding that really cool, like speculative, fictional sort of biology, and just walking through and thinking, how would that creature live? What would their world be like? And drawing on some of the information from our real life animals in order to build up that picture in our minds. Oh, it just makes me very excited. But all right, it's time. It is time, my friends. We're gonna start growing these little ones up up and we're going to see if they're going to be small like Frogger the Fox, or if they're going to be quite a bit bigger like Banana the Dingo. Those are two excellent names now that I reflect on that. All right, Forrest, you're up first. Ooh, Forrest! Wow! Forrest! We're gonna have pointy ears on all these babies, I think, because the fox and the dingo both actually share kind of that more pointed ear characteristic. And I think that Forrest looks absolutely elegant. Like a creature that Fern might be a little nervous to meet because it would be exceptionally wild, but it would be really special to meet at those ruins in The Sims 4 Cottage Living. I think that that would be a really cool, like, I mean, wouldn't you feel like you had a little bit of a wild mythical experience? Oh, that's so fun. But all right, Captain, you're up next. And you... You're so small and cute, Captain! Oh, look at you with your big fluffy tail and your little white streaks around your face. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right, so we do have some of those smaller genes coming out too. Oh, you guys, let me know what you think of all of these crossbreeds and which one is your favorite, because I think we're going to have a lot of great variation. Let's see how London grows up. And London has indeed grown up to be a giant fox. Basically a gigantic fox, which makes me think, I wonder how many extinct fox species there are and how big they got. Huh, I'm gonna have to give that a little bit of thought too. I love all of the curious questions we come up with in the course of making these crossbreeds. All right, Savage, you're up next. And you two are very big! I would be maybe a little bit more nervous to meet Savage in the woods because those red eyes, like you'd be very cautious, I think. But again, beautiful coloration, and it's really fascinating to see how many parallel sort of designs there are between a fox and between a dingo, with that evolution sculpting the same thing, because they kind of hunt in the same sort of niches, and it's just interesting to see how similar and yet different they are. Brandy, you're up next. Brandy! Small, adorable fox. You wouldn't even know there's any dingo DNA hiding inside of your genes. Unless, you know, suddenly you sprout an opposable thumb and start opening doors. We'll have to see. And then finally, Mystical! And Mystical is a small little fox as well. Oh, I think that was a good mix, you guys. We kind of had half of them be smaller like a fox and half of them be bigger like a dingo. We had a lot of really great curious questions come up from this mix of the two different animals about what drove their evolution and what kind of really interesting like fantasy creatures we know about. This was a good day in the Labarkatory. But alright guys, if you could, do please leave a like for our wonderful little crossbreed creations. And if you would like to join us on this and literally thousands more adventures, do please consider subscribing. But most importantly, stay curious. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!